Texans, one of 9 teams without a win in the NFL 2 weeks in, but DeMeco Ryans seems a little bit positive. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and let's hear from DeMeco and look at some stuff going on around the league that impacts the Texans in the locker room.
Yeah, it's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too.
Welcome to the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. Please subscribe, like, ride along. Best Texans coverage you can get, the pulse of what's going on with the team, which is an 0-2 football team, one of 9 teams without a win, and they're facing the team that most people have decided is going to win the AFC South for the second straight year, the 1-1 Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to hear from DeMeco Ryans in this. We're going to get into the good and the bad in regards to the Texans 2 weeks in, and we're also going to break down some other things. But first, let's just look at the bad. Let's start with the bad. Some people like to start with the good news. Some people like to start with the bad news. I like to get the bad out of the way and talk about the good. And some of the bad is quite obvious, and some of it will fix itself. Now, how much of a hole will you be in when it fixes itself? Will it actually fix itself? Who knows? But it is the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. And let's just start with the bad. The bad is the week-to-week regression. Some things you can't control. You can't control injuries. At least a lot of times they're looked at as bad luck. But you can control being prepared early in a game, not getting completely smacked around by another rookie coach on the first drive. You can avoid your best player disappearing. And the Texans, from Baltimore to Indianapolis, I think anyone can agree that there was regression when it came to the stuff that they could not control. Now, that can be eliminated in as soon as 5 days. But where we sit right now, we're looking at the 2-week window, week-to-week regression, at least overall as a team when it comes to the way in which you start. That's number one. Number two, C.J. Stroud's shoulder. Now, I don't know how this is going to be. CJ Stroud says he's going to be all right, but when I hear that a guy's shoulder is hurt and I hear that he got to the stadium extra early and I see how much he's having to throw and how much he's getting hit, the shoulder at least a little bit concerns me, because CJ Stroud's one of the most important things on this squad, and you need his shoulder to be okay. Now, maybe we never hear about this again, but I'm keeping an eye on that, and I'm putting that as one of the most important things. And the other one is injuries. A lot of injuries, a lot of them. Again, it's not the only reason that things have gone bad, but I mean, you're missing your starting safeties, you're missing a linebacker, you're missing guys all on the offensive line. Injuries are a bad thing. So that's the bad. We got the bad out of the way. Let's look at the good. The good is CJ Stroud. While the team as a whole kind of regressed from week 1 to week 2, he actually he showed progress. And C.J. Stroud, statistically, he's been the best rookie quarterback 2 weeks in. He's also hung in there behind a depleted offensive line. He's handled pressure well. I know he's been sacked a lot, but could have been sacked a lot more. C.J. Stroud is one of the main positives. The other one, the receivers. We've seen good performances, career performance by Nico Collins. We've seen some pretty good consistency from week to week. Arguably your most consistent player from week to week offensively in Robert Woods. And we've seen Tank Dell kind of unleashed in week 2 as well with the 7 catches and the touchdown. And the other good news is inevitable health, we think. You're going to get hopefully 2 offensive linemen back, and Juice Scruggs and Titus Howard in week 5. Laramie Tunsil, you think he's going to be back. Jimmy Ward, Jalen Petrie, they're eventually going to step on the field. And then hopefully you get Blake Cashman back and some of the other guys. So inevitable health is the good. Let's hear from DeMeco Ryans. DeMeco Ryans met with the media. Let's hear what the head coach has to say. 0-2 start. He's the second coach in Texans history to be winless through his first 2 games, Wade Phillips is the other one. There's been interim coaches, Romeo Crennel, Wade Phillips. All the head coaches, DeMeco Ryans is one of two to be winless through two. Wade went 0-3 in his entire tenure. So DeMeco, not the start that maybe you had hoped for. Let's hear from DeMeco Ryans, starting with his assessment of CJ Stroud.
Yeah, watching the game, I think CJ, again, he did some really good things in the game to give us a chance there to move the ball, to score some points there. Our receivers, thought their energy, their intent was really good. Nico had an awesome game, first 100-yard game in his career. Credit to him, just how he worked throughout the week, and it showed up in the game. Robert has been consistent as ever from his first day here, and he shows up in the game just being consistent. So proud of the effort that those guys put out. And again, CJ did some really good things. And there's things we can clean up. Just offensively, the finer details and techniques, communication, things that we can clean up, things that we can control. Those are things that we can definitely be better at, and we will moving forward.
See, and I think he's touching on, and we talked about things that you can control. I think one of those things is tempo. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't as consistent as they would have liked. Once they hit the 30s, kind of seemed to have slowed down. I think that's the type of stuff he's talking about offensively. But he is right. CJ Stroud looked good, and the receivers have been good. Let's hear more from DeMeco.
Improvement did you see from the Baltimore game to yesterday in terms of the pre-snap operations, procedures that you discussed in the week?
I thought our pre-snap operation and how we moved, our tempo, I thought it was really good from our offense. Thought they did a really good job of attacking that this week in practice, and it showed in the game. Pre-snap operation was very clean, and guys got to the line of scrimmage in really great and good time, and they were able to just have a clean operation throughout the entire game. So very pleased with that improvement from week 1 to week 2.
During training camp, you mentioned how in order to be good offensively, you need to Pierce on his A game. Talked a lot about the run game. Are there ways through these initial setbacks on that side of the ball that the passing game can support that with the philosophy of attacking that you can do it that way?
And we can run the ball better. It starts with just our communication up front, just being on the details again and communicating where we going, where we ID, and just being on it, and also just how we're running it, just staying after it, making plays. We had some plays there to be made. There's one guy free in the hole, right? If we can make sure we're on the right person and be where we're supposed to be, there are some explosive plays in the run game to be made.
See, I don't know, and I don't even hold this against him. I would like to believe him. Maybe there's ways to get creative, but you've almost got to grade some of these guys on a curve. Like it's hard to imagine running the ball effectively. And you heard Robert Woods actually talking about earlier. We told Bobby Slowick, let's throw. I don't think they can run. Although the situation did call for it. I know he says they can. Man, that's tough to believe.
For the linebacker core, for me, the outing, we have to coach them better. It wasn't good enough. And from start to finish, they have to do a much better job.
By the way, 13 of 13, Indianapolis was targeting linebackers in the pass game. That's where, the Blake Cashman, probably your best cover guy in camp before he went down. That's where he might help. Christian Harris being able to be used and stay out there would help. I think we'll hear him address that. But yeah, the linebackers against the run, against the pass, are really rough.
When it comes to just being where we're supposed to be in coverage, when it comes to tackling in the hole, like it has to be much better for us to play good defense.
How do you describe what Christian Harris has been going throughout the season, where he's at with the defense? It seems like toe-to-toe has been getting more time out there. Just where is his progression?
Yeah, with the linebackers, we've moved a couple guys around. You've seen Henry get some snaps. We got Christian in getting snaps. Those guys there's been a little rotation of both of those guys, but we're just looking for all those guys to just be consistent with what they're given, right? Own the reps that you have and do the best that you can do with those.
My thing is, man, Christian Harris has got to be significantly better than Henry To'oTo'o. And I like To'oTo'o as, a rotational guy and maybe eventually a solid starting linebacker. But at this point, with where they are and what we hope for, we've got to see more from Christian Harris. We've got to.
Mechie says he wanted to thrive, not just survive. It seemed like late in the game you guys were trying to get him the ball. How much of that was to sort of get him back out there and really see him thrive?
First, just credit to Mechie of him. It's his first game. It was awesome to see him out there playing, and he wants to be great. That's the one thing I love about Mechie. He just doesn't want to, just be a normal NFL receiver. He wants to be great at his job, and he works that way. So it was very encouraging to see him out there, seeing him get some opportunities, and we'll start to see that more. But very pleased with him and encouraged to see him out there.
You mentioned Nico and his preparation earlier in the week. Throughout the offseason and kind of getting going, what in particular has impressed you most about him?
What has impressed me most about Nico is just his intent and how he comes to work every day. Right, he's dialed in. Nico wants to be great at what he does. He's made plays throughout training camp, and it's showing. Like when there was an improvement or a coaching point to be made from last week, he improved upon that this week and put it on tape. And he was able to have a really good game just by focusing on what he can control and going out and playing with great effort, great intent. And I love the mindset. When Nico caught the ball, it was a mindset to score. And that's what we need from all of our guys, to have that mindset to go score. And that's what he put on tape. And that's what you've seen consistently from training camp. You knew that he's gonna have a good year just based on his mindset and how he works.
You mentioned it a couple times, lack of effort, but urgency, and Will Anderson touched on it too. Now that you've watched it,
This is the one we want right here, because the defense, the effort was not good. You're missing a few guys, but the effort was not good. The preparation was not good. This is one of the things that we wanted in this one, in this media availability. First media availability post Colts loss here in the locker room.
something that jumped out as to why is it the lack of understanding the urgency? Does it matter? Are they thinking too much and just playing slow? What do you see?
Yeah, from the defensive perspective, there's just too many mistakes and miscues. It's guys being where they're supposed to be, and it's nothing that they shouldn't know. We have to do better. We have to get it fixed, and we have to get better in a hurry.
What's the lines when you look back and watch the film with Bobby and with Matt? How much of the onus did they take and responsibility did they take up on themselves to say, hey, I can do better here, I can do better here?
And all of our coaches understand that it all starts with us, and not just Matt, Bobby. It starts with me first, and it all starts with me. Whatever we put out there, on game day, it starts with me, and I'll take onus for that. We all have to coach it better. When we coach it better, it'll show up better on the field, just being on the details of our jobs.
What did you make of the quick change that Steichen did in the fourth quarter? He ran the special teams out there, then it was the offense right back out there. Have you seen anything quite like that before?
Yeah, we should have put our guys out there, and it gave us time to sub, and we did it there.
Yeah, and that's the learning curve. That's the learning from the mistake, and that's just inevitable. Shane Steichen did a good job of forcing the Texans to use the timeout, and that's just one of those things, one of those learning experiences that DeMeco will go through and a lot of young coaches will go through.
Earlier today, Stephen Nelson talked about how much being the captain meant to him. He said he shared tears and stuff. But, from you, how has it been, just working alongside?
This is a Steven Nelson question, the offseason, et cetera. And how this works is Steven Nelson was at the podium, so you naturally ask about the person that's at the podium because that's what these guys
The
are doing.
relationship with Steven Nelson it's been really good. Steven's a true pro, and I appreciate Steven. When he came back, I told everyone on the team when he came back and he worked with us, he's been one of our most consistent players. Not only on the defense but on the team. He's been a guy who's been very consistent in his approach And that's what leadership looks like. It's being where you're supposed to be, doing your job, right, handling things the proper way. And that's what Steven has done. That's what he's put on display. And that's, something for the young guys to look to, say, like, man, this is how a professional handles his business, and Steven has done that every day.
We'll take a few more.
How close was Laramie to playing Sunday, and how confident are you that he can be back?
Listen to this. This was weird. I think this was a slip up, but you remember when Jordan Alvarez, we thought that he hurt his knee, and then Dusty said it was knees, and we found out that he had like dual knee surgeries. I don't think that's the case with Tunsil, but DeMeco says knees. I think this might have been a misspeak. It'll be interesting to see the Wednesday injury report, but listen to him. He says knees. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see where Laramie is with his knees. We'll see how that goes throughout the week. Still a day-to-day process.
What moments throughout your life or career do you look back on?
It's another money one because Texans are up against it, 0-2. A win against Jacksonville could change a lot of things, and it could completely reset the way you think about this season in the short term. Winning a game that you're not supposed to after not competing in a game that you were supposed to. This is where DeMeco, this is where the DeMeco package, the adversity, the experience gets it. This is him on football adversity.
To kind of help you, in these particular moments where you kind of build something up losing the first two games. I mean, I know the 49ers lost, early in your inside linebackers, but what moments in your career do you look back on to help steer you?
For me, in these moments, we've lost 2 games, but there's a lot of good things our guys are doing. Right? We just have to, learn how to win games and not lose games. I think these first 2 games we've lost because we've hurt ourselves. So we just have to learn how to win games, and that's ball. That's been ball throughout my entire career. Like, you can go back to high school.
That's the money quote right here.
College, like, I've been here before, and it's a matter of we keep attacking it. We're not quitting. I keep teaching. We're going to keep coaching to make sure it's right. But it's nothing I've never seen before, nothing we can't come out of. It's just a matter of us, like, being on it, attentive to the details of our job, being on it, and guys just swarming the process. And that's how you turn things around, right? You be the change you want to see.
So there you go. And that's going to be interesting to see how the team reacts. It's all about how the team reacts when their backs are against the wall. And you heard DeMeco speaking on certain things. Some of it he can't control, but I mean, he's not going to make any excuses. And some of the stuff he can control. You heard him talk about that, but we'll see how his team reacts. I don't expect anyone to ever quit on DeMeco Ryans. A win in Jacksonville would go a long way. Would I bet on it? No. But hell, I wouldn't have bet that they were going to get skull drugged by Indianapolis and be down 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. So it'll be interesting to see. Again, there is some good. There is some bad. We'll hear from the players throughout the week. We'll hear from Bobby Slowick, what he had to say. Hopefully they start getting more healthy. Tomorrow, the things to watch for, the injury report. I do wonder if Jimmy Ward plays, he might not want to do it, but he might have to play some nickel. I've actually had some funny moments with Jimmy Ward, and you've kind of heard DeMeco Ryans laugh about, he wants to play safety. Yeah, you're really good, though, at safety and nickel, and one of the best nickel backs in the league. Tavier Thomas just had surgery on his hand, so desperate times might call for desperate measures. Who knows, though, if Jimmy Ward is going to be ready to go. Again, the Wednesday practice report is going to be wild. Would be really nice to see at least one of these 2 safeties ready to go. Appreciate you for coming through. It is the Locker Room, #1 source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610. We're going to go through the highlights. Also going to talk about the positive things the Texans got going, as well as the most concerning things. Week 2 beginning, Texans 1 of 9 teams without a dub, looking for that first dub. Tough opponent ahead. DeMeco Ryans seems confident, though. We'll see if his team backs it up, and we'll see if his team gets some good news leading up to it. You've come to the right place to follow all of that. No matter what happens, though, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Thanks for coming through.
And we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck.